welcome to Learn About Nature. I'm Sergeant A, and this is our weekly series we put out on Mondays, where we learn about a different animal each week. Just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. Today we're going to go over the dingo, the Australian predator. And everybody thinks it's a dog because it looks like a dog, but it really is not in the dog family. So we'll watch a little video like we usually do, and then I'll read something off the slide I found for you. So let's get started.
Safari. On today's episode, the dingo.
Hopefully we'll get through this without the copyright stopping us.
8,000 years ago. Dingoes can turn their heads almost 180 degrees in each direction, helping them track prey. They can also dislocate their hips, helping them squeeze into small places for hunting or hiding. Instead of barking, dingoes use a series of howls or coughs to communicate. Female dingoes eat their own droppings for moisture.
Definitely didn't know about that.
Milk for their young.
On droppings.
Dingoes will mate for life, and it is not uncommon to see them mourn their partner's death. Please subscribe to the channel.
Okay, we saw the video, and I was talking through, but it somehow got shut off. This computer runs slow, it drives me nuts. Now we're on a site called mentalfloss.com. I will put the link down in the description when I'm done. So you can go there and read it for yourself, because I'm going to skip a few things. But this has 11 wild facts about dingoes. Now, the dingo is not a dog breed, like I said before. Technically, they're not. They're only semi-domesticated. They're just as much of a wolf as they are a dog. So they're not sure if they were fully domesticated or not in the past. Some evidence suggests that they may have once been pets, but were abandoned and left to go back to their wild state. They think from Indonesia and Southeast Asia, they dropped the dogs in Australia about 4,000 years ago. And then when they're left on their own devices, they had to thrive by falling back on the wolfish instincts of their ancestors. You know, they had to eat, you know. They are considered pests in Australia because there's so many of them, and now they go after the livestock. They need to survive. So left to fend for themselves, dingoes became the largest predator in Australia. And they enjoy a wide variety of prey to gobble down. And it wasn't until the English came to the country with their sheep that the dingo ran into trouble. So domesticated, dingoes feasted on the newcomers' livestock until the farmers were at their wits' end. And while most dogs are considered man's best friend, the dingoes are decidedly an enemy of the Australian farmer. Some sheep owners today have resorted to guard donkeys to protect their stock, because the donkeys are low maintenance and they scare away the dingoes and foxes with their powerful kicks. Now, the largest fence in the world was built to keep the dingoes out. So Australians were desperate to keep their flocks safe. They resorted to building a fence in southeastern Australia. This impressive fence was one of the longest structures in the world, and it's considered the longest fence. Now, originally, it was a collection of small fences built in the 1880s to prevent the spread of rabbit plague. It fell into disrepair, and then in the 1900s, they were repaired and converted to dingo fences. Then, in the 1940s, they were connected to form a giant structure, a giant continuous fence. And once stretched 5,352 miles long, but it's shortened down to 3,488 miles long now. And it costs about 10 million Australian dollars for its upkeep. Keeps other predators out too. Now, there's different kinds of dingoes, as in most species. The range of the climates across Australia is probably what led to the development of the types of dingo. So desert dingoes are reddish, golden yellow, or sand colored, and they have a compact body. Alpine dingoes are the most rare and have a light cream coat. Finally, the northern dingoes have a finer stature and lack the double coat the other two have. Now, you're not really supposed to keep them as pets, but some people do keep them as pets. They said it can be rewarding because the dogs are loving and very emotional. They're attractive canines, and they can be walked on a leash and brought to a dog park. But the dogs are very high maintenance. Dingoes are related to the wolves, so they have pack values. So if they're left alone, and they need to be greeted every 15 minutes with patting, talking, and kissing. Now, if you do not pay proper attention to them, that will leave them disappointed, upset. So dingo owners cannot move frequently because they do not like change very well. Now, some places in Australia it's illegal to own them. New South Wales and Western Australia, it's legal to own a dingo without a permit. Now, Victoria and Northern Territory require special permits, but in Tasmania, Queensland, and South Australia, they are completely illegal, so you cannot own them there. Now, some dogs have dingoes in their ancestry. So, despite being somewhat wild, the dingoes are still dogs and have mixed with other canine natives of Australia. You can find dingo blood in Australian keppies and Australian cattle dogs. Breeders realized that the sturdy wild dogs were perfect to help bulk up their working dogs. Alright, number 8, we have dingoes have owl-like abilities. So dingoes are well equipped for the Australian outback because they have an impressive sense of vision. They can even swivel their heads about 180 degrees, which comparatively the owls can turn their heads 270 degrees. And we as humans can only turn our heads 45 to 70 degrees. Their bendy wrists are helpful. They have bendy wrists. So just like humans, they have rotating wrists. This allows them to use their paws like hands to catch prey. Helps them climb trees and even open doors. I just watched a video of how smart they are too, where one dingo saw some food up in the fence real high. He pulled this table over to the fence and was able to climb up to it and pull the food down. Now, they don't really bark like the standard dingo or dog. Dingoes are much quieter. Instead of barking, they have a yodel-like howl. And number 11, they live a long time in captivity. In the wild, the dingoes live somewhere between 5 to 10 years. In captivity, they can live upwards to 18 to 20 years. And this number is impressive because most domesticated dogs don't boast such a long lifespan. Comparatively, the English Springer Spaniel, which is roughly the same size as a dingo, only lives about 10 to 14 years. And you know that they're domesticated / in captivity. So that's a pretty neat fact there. I guess because there's no stress. There's less stress being in captivity. So they live longer. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I'll put the link to this site down in the bottom so you can go read it yourself if you'd like. Because I had to skip through a few things. But, you know, if you like what we've went over today, you know, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you share it if you like. And in the comment section, go ahead and let me know of an animal or something in nature you'd like me to cover. We do this every Monday. That's the goal, at least. So I may not make it every Monday, but if you subscribe, you'll find out when the new ones come out. So please do so. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe up. So for now, until next week, this is Sergeant A saying goodbye.